Above the Basement, Boston Music and Conversation is recorded at beautiful Woods Hill Table Restaurant in West Concord, Massachusetts. Woods Hill Table owns a farm in Bath, New Hampshire, where they raise their own meat. They offer a full raw bar and fresh fish caught off the coast of Massachusetts, and they even harvest their own maple syrup and honey for use in the restaurant. Local farms supply all their vegetables and grains, and Chef Charlie Foster uses international cooking techniques to create fantastic, seasonally focused cuisine. Go to woodshilltable.com for reservations or call 978-369-6300. Hello everyone, this is Chuck Clow from Above the Basement, Boston Music and Conversation. Britt Connors is a fantastic singer, songwriter, and guitarist. She came out with her first solo album in 2010 called The Bad Side of Good, and she is now playing with her y'alternative band comprised of some of Boston's most in-demand musicians called Bourbon Renewal. Their most recent album is called Warmer Season and was released to a sold-out crowd at the Venerable Club Passim. Britt sat with Ronnie and I, and we had a great talk about her music, and we were lucky enough to have her play a new song for us as well. You can check out her music and where she's playing at brittconnors.com. So here is our conversation with Britt, recorded at Woods Hill Table in Concord, Massachusetts. Britt, where are you coming from right now?
Where am I coming from?
Yeah, you coming from work? You're
yes.
doing your Pilates
Work
stuff?
at my house, yeah.
You do your Pilates out of your house?
Partially, yeah.
And so it's your own
It's my own studio.
Oh,
yeah.
so
I still do some contracting where I've always taught in Winchester, but now I've got my own little studio. It's pretty awesome.
Cool. and that's out near Verrill Farm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Carriage House Studios.
Carriage House Pilates.
That's what it's called? Carriage House Pilates?
That's what I call it.
I like it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I just knew it was a carriage house.
Yeah. That's it. We live in a carriage house, so I figured
So you-
I would
oh,
go
wow.
with, yeah.
Huh.
Carriage House Pilates.
Damn, I thought I was coming up with a great new name for you. I've never done Pilates, have you?
I haven't. I've done yoga, and I might have done something like it at some point.
I'm very ignorant about it. I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna have to look it up.
I can tell you about it if you want. You don't have
Well,
to look it
you're
up.
gonna play some guitar for us later, but can you do guitar and Pilates moves at the same time or no? You probably never tried that.
It's weird. I haven't tried that, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
That's
It's
not
just
that-
it's
not
just
that
both
weird.
of your. No,
It's not
it might
that
be
weird.
weird
Yeah.
if you tried that.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
That would think that would be the opposite, right? It would be weird
Mike's
if you
gonna
did.
find me on the floor, stuck underneath something after having tried playing guitar and doing Pilates. But yeah,
That would be a horrible obituary.
yeah, I know. Especially a little embarrassing.
So thanks for joining us, Britt.
Thanks for having
Have you ever
me.
done anything like this before?
I haven't done like a podcast. I've done little interview things, live things, or whatever. But
Have you been on the radio?
Yes,
And was this with bourbon or was this with pre-bourbon?
with bourbon. Yep,
All right,
and
cool.
pre-bourbon actually. But yeah.
All right, awesome.
You
So-
may have to describe to the listeners. I mean, people know who Britt Connors is, but
Right.
what do you mean by with bourbon?
So-
I only go on the radio
Well,
if I've had a lot of
remember,
bourbon to
we do-
drink.
We do.
That's my
Do you-
secret.
So this,
Have
Thanks
you?
for
are you
sharing that.
trashed when you did this?
Yes,
All right.
that's what I'm trying to
No.
say.
Remember, we do the opening. We pre-record who these people are. So
You
when
never.
I say
You
bourbon-
never know, Chuck. You never know, Chuck.
I should turn your mic off.
Some people don't listen. So.
So I was going to ask a question. You totally lost my train of thought.
I think next time we should do this with Scotch.
We are right now. No one can tell.
It's a sad thing is that we're not.
I know.
But yes, thanks for joining us. And you've been busy.
I have been busy.
I've seen a lot of you've done a lot of videos,
Yep.
and I've been getting your newsletter pretty regularly.
Yeah.
You're so good at that. We're so bad at it. And
Doing newsletters.
You're doing newsletters and just making sure people know what's going on with the frogs and stuff like that. And you've been very diligent in keeping up with that.
Well, thanks for saying that. I always wonder, you'd never want to go overboard and make it too much because I hate
No.
when you get
It's not.
inundated. So, good. Well,
It's
What is
not.
it about every couple months, right?
yeah, I've been going, these days, I think for the past year, I've been trying to do like once a month.
Once a month, yeah.
yeah.
I always I like to open them up, and some kind of mailing lists I'll kind of ignore.
Yeah.
But I always read yours, and I'm not just
Oh,
saying that because
thanks.
you're sitting here. But it's always going to be interesting. It's always going to have something. It's not just like, hey, I'm cool. I'm going to be playing here. This is our new album. But it's just nice to read what you have to say.
Thanks. That's really nice.
And so you're doing, yeah. You not only you came out with this album, and when did it come out?
It's going to be 2 years,
2 years
this summer.
Oh my gosh, already? Huh?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought you just had your Club Passim opening.
I know. It does seem that went by really fast.
That always happens.
Yeah.
It always goes by really fast before you know it.
I know.
Yeah, so there's that, and then you're going back to Club Passim. You got a lot more gigs than, I mean, it's been ramping up lately. I know. I mean, I kind of keep on top of how often you gig out, and you're doing more and more.
You're
definitely
so diligent.
Well, you know,
He's a stalker.
we do our research here.
It's really nice.
Yeah. He calls me up at midnight. He's just like, "Did you see where Britt's playing next?"
Oh my God.
I'm like, Chuck, you got to stop this.
I'm watching it right now.
Most people just delete my newsletters. You guys read them, man, and follow up. That's really nice.
How was that, by the way? So you sold out Passim. That must have been awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty
like a
great
year
for
ago
our
or
first
so.
time there. It was 2 years ago for the CD release.
Oh,
we
right.
had the
Okay.
CD release there, and that was like my dream to play there in the first place, and then
Yeah.
to have the CD release.
But you're there.
But-
You're there pretty soon too. Again.
Yeah,
You're
we're
going back.
there in August. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Such a great room.
it's awesome. Yeah.
So looking at the videos that you kind of been like spacing them out,
Eking
a little
out,
bit.
yeah.
Spacing them out. Are you still playing with Greg Lohman, or
Yeah,
it
Greg-
kind of on and off because he's got his?
He's so busy.
yeah,
That
he's so
dude
busy.
is
He's a
so
busy guy.
popular, and he's also on the road a lot with the Rhythm Future
Rhythm.
Quartet,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Gypsy
yeah.
Jazz, and they're just incredible, and they're doing great things. And
These guys are
so,
sick.
I know.
I saw them.
Yeah.
I saw
You saw them?
I saw Mike in New York that one time with
That's
Mike and
right.
Greg and
Jason
and
Anick,
Jason. Yeah.
yep. And yeah, they're guitarists. Oh, they're incredible. But yeah,
The
I
guitarist
think-
wasn't there. I don't think.
Okay.
Oh, maybe he was. I can't remember, but
That guy's good.
yeah,
yeah,
rips.
they're
It's amazing.
unbelievable.
they're ridiculous.
And they've been doing a lot of touring, and so it got to the point where he couldn't do a bunch of gigs, and we thought, oh my God, we need to have another bass player just in case really he's never available. And so we started playing with Ed Lucy,
Yeah.
and that's been great. He's incredible too.
Yeah.
And
He's the guy in the videos on the live
Yeah.
video.
Yep.
Got like kind of long hair.
Long gray hair.
Yeah.
Solid.
Cool looking dude.
Looks badass.
Yeah, totally badass.
What I noticed was some of those camera views were really cool. I just watched this the other day. What's the latest one you just put out? Mine.
Carry You.
Carry You, yeah. I like that song. And it's just such a solid, when he just puts he's just like, with a finger on the top of the, when the bass comes in.
Yeah.
It's just a punchy, like, boom, I'm here. And it was very cool. But I was wondering, so is it really live?
Yeah.
So all of that, you're not overdubbing anything?
Nope. We wanted to do that because I kept trying to get either gigs or like festival things, all these things, and venues and organizations really wanted live video, and I just didn't have anything that was good enough to put out there. And someone
Yeah.
can do something with their iPhone, but it's just not good enough
Right.
if you're trying to show
Yeah.
what you do.
And even if
So-
you're at Passim or something and you get
Yeah.
like someone's taking a video of just the front of the band, it
Yeah.
could sound okay. But obviously you put some sort of direction into that, and then
Exactly.
it looks like the close-ups are really what sort of make it too.
Oh, good.
Because I think it's just not it's not like you're just looking at a band.
Right.
Yeah.
It was
You're-
very personal.
Yeah.
You're going from member to member, and it also
Yeah.
depends. Sometimes you're facing the camera and singing to us,
Yeah.
or you're just kind of singing to the rest of the band. So they're different. I like how they're different.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for saying that. Mike had worked with the videographer Scott Quaid. He works for Vic Firth and drums, and
Yeah.
he goes all around the world and tapes some pretty big names. And Mike had done some video with him and discovered him and said, "I like this guy. We got to get this guy on board." And he is incredible. He's the nicest guy, and he's just on it. And he had a billion different cameras, so we just put cameras everywhere,
Yeah.
and then edited what he got.
Were you in a
So-
church, or is that a studio that was in it?
It's a studio, which is an old church. That's
Where-
where we recorded both of our records out in West Springfield at
Oh, yeah, John was
Rotary
talking about that.
Records. Yeah,
So cool.
yeah.
I
We
haven't-
knew
I haven't been there.
it's awesome. We knew we could trust Warren to get good sound, and then the video. So the more important part of that was good live sound, and that we could all just do it in real time, and whatever video came of it was kind of like,
Right.
okay. But he did such a great job.
And did you rehearse? Did you rehearse it doing that way, or just sort of is this the way you kind of just rehearse anyway?
No, I mean,
Just-
we didn't.
Or played it like you play
I mean,
live, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I guess live, when you're playing for an audience, it's a different feeling, and we all had headphones on, so it's a little more insular, I guess. But so you don't get that feel like you're necessarily playing for a crowd. But I kind of like that, like, especially as an introvert. I think it's kind of nice not to have to worry about like what people's faces are looking like, or just kind of be in the music and see my bandmates, and it was
Yeah.
really cool.
You did that song that David G. Moore wrote.
Getting over you, honey.
Getting Over You, Honey,
Yep.
yeah. And you recorded a video walking down Main Street in Concord. Was that the first time you've done something like that?
Yeah, that was definitely the first like music
That's a
video.
great video. I love it.
Claude did awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was walking backwards holding the camera. He didn't even have like a fancy rig. He was getting all tired and sore, trying not to trip as he was walking backwards. The guy.
That came out good. It's steady.
Yeah.
I don't see any shaking in
Superstar.
there.
I know.
That was pretty good.
How he did it.
So this album is called Warmer Season. And how did you come up with the name Bourbon Renewal?
That was Mike came up with that. I have to
Mike
give
Connors.
credit. Yep. My husband Mike, the drummer.
The
Yep.
amazing Mike Connors.
Amazing, as he's known as on Facebook. He did not name himself that. I just have
Spelled.
to make that clear.
We were
That is
trying to-
Greg Loafman who did that.
Because we asked Mike to do this, and he doesn't
Oh.
want he doesn't want to do it.
He
He said no,
He said, "I
you
know
don't
you-"
want to talk to me.
oh no.
And I'm like, no, we really do want to talk to you. And he's, no, you don't want to talk to me. I'm like, Mike, you're an interesting guy. So I'm sorry, I interrupted you. So Bourbon Renewal, the name.
Yeah, Mike came up with that one day. I think back in the day we were trying to think of band names, and he thought it was funny. And the funny thing is, our usual guitar guy, Andrew Stern, he asked one day, he's like, what's the whole this was recently, this was like a couple months ago at a gig. He's like, yeah, what does it mean? Mike's like, seriously? Like, you're asking that now? But it was supposed to be a play on urban renewal, bourbon renewal, but that just flew right over his head. And I thought it was really funny that, a few years, maybe 2 or 3 years in the band, he never thought to wonder about it. But
That's a good stage conversation too. Like
Yeah.
just stop in the middle of a song and be like, "Wait a second, guys."
Does anybody
does
know
this
why
mean?
we're called this? Because I forget.
it's hard to think about too much about it anyway. We just like the sound of it, and hey,
Yeah.
I like bourbon, and
Renew the
bourbon's
glass.
great. Yeah,
So you're from the Boston area.
I am from Central Mass.
Central
really,
Mass.
but
So
originally
in West Boylston.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been there.
You probably haven't,
But
so
it's west, though. Very west.
it's right outside of Worcester.
Okay. Oh, well, that's
like-
not that far.
yeah, it's
Oh,
not
maybe
that
I
far.
have been there.
You might have passed through it
Maybe
and
passed
not
through it.
noticed.
Or maybe I
but-
saw it on a sign somewhere.
yeah.
You out of college? Well, wait a minute. In college, you were a vocal major. Is
Yep.
that what it was?
Yeah.
Vocal major. So what was that like, being a vocal major?
Dumb. The dumbest major you could have.
Well, no, you have a great voice,
Well,
so-
thank you. No, I think I don't mean to say it that way. It's
Yeah.
just it's funny to me to think back on that. And I knew I wanted to sing. I didn't know how to play guitar. I'd played piano, and I had never written a song. But all my idols were all singer songwriters and singers, and I didn't know what else to do except keep studying singing, which was great, and I loved being in Ithaca. That's one of my favorite places still. But I had to study mostly classical, so I was singing some opera and classical pieces, which a lot of it I really loved. But I'm not an opera singer, and I didn't have that voice, and so I always was kind of trying to like tread water, keeping up with these people with these huge, beautiful voices. And I was just like, this isn't even what I want to do, but I have to do this and study this. And
Which certainly must have trained your voice. Must have gotten your voice stronger trying to.
Oh
that
yeah.
Stuff, so.
Oh yeah. And we learned music theory and music history and all that. I have a degree in music, but so I don't discount that. Like that was so helpful. But it's just funny to think back on what I started, and then it's always a long process for me to get where I want to go.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's true about college in general is that there's a lot of people that will do some specific type of major, like in engineering, or I don't know, maybe that's a decent example, I guess. And then they go on and it's like gets more focused and focused, and they
Yeah.
knew what they wanted to do when they were like 8.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But I mean, a lot of majors. I was an anthropology major. Interesting.
Oh wow.
It was
Really?
cool, but like you
I
know,
loved
it's like
my
what do you
anthropology
really
class.
do like with it? You
Yeah.
know, nothing. But you can you learn interesting things and.
And you didn't play
Yeah.
any instruments at all.
I played piano.
You play piano. So-
Yeah.
and when did you start playing the guitar?
I kind of dabbled in college. I took a class and then I had like a couple lessons here and there right after college, but I'd never really played or had time to practice. And
Because when I've seen you play, your chords are all they're funky chords. They're like a lot of open strings, and you're up on the neck, and you're not just doing the G, C, D stuff. You're doing some interesting different fingerings that I don't recognize.
yeah, well, I think I have a jazz background too, and,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of what I grew up on a lot and listened to and learned a bit of. And so when I first moved to Boston, I started taking lessons with my friend Matthew Dorco, and he used to, when I was working at Johnny D's, which is now defunct, but he used to play the brunch there, and I befriended him, and he gave lessons, and so I studied with him and then he was a big part of my first album, and we co-wrote some stuff, and he kind of taught me, that was my formative guitar kind of
Interesting.
harmonies and voicings, and he's a jazz guy, so it was really cool to learn things from him. So I have that like basis. So that's
Yeah, it's
probably
sort of like
what-
creating folk. I don't want to glump it all in all folk, but
Yeah.
sort of singer-songwriter, folky type things with a jazz chord background.
yeah.
But you didn't make up some of those chords, did you? Or are
Oh
they
yeah,
all sort of?
I've made up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
sometimes I
think you
I
have.
have to
They have to
play
be, right?
chords, and then I have to say what is that, and I have to figure out what chord it is because I
Right,
I
because
don't
you're using your ear. Yeah.
know. I don't know enough about the guitar, which is
Yeah.
a sad
I
thing
know,
to
I've done that
admit.
too.
But yeah, no, I totally sometimes will just put my fingers down and I like the sound of that. What the heck chord is that? But
You do alternate tunings?
some, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the Beatles knew when like every single type of chord that they played. I mean, there's people that
Yeah.
don't have any training at all. Like Chuck, for instance, he'll play something. He has no idea what it is. Yeah, I'm like, dude, it's an E minor.
Ron reminds me every time.
You're proficient though at the guitar though.
Well,
Great guitar
I
player.
trick people.
It's like Chuck. There's not just all major chords. This one's a minor.
Well, you played it. And
I can
didn't
spell
realize.
minor, but I don't know if I can play one.
Wait, can I ask a question about John
Yeah,
Dorco? Is
go.
it John
Matthew
Dorco? Oh,
Dorco,
Matt.
yeah.
So was he the guy that played guitar on the first album?
Yes.
You had?
Yep. He played bass and guitar on that
There-
record.
Because just as an aside, there were some really amazing lines
Yeah.
on the electric guitar that were not really chord based. There,
Yeah.
there was something going on that was like very memorable.
Yeah.
You knew that there was sort of like a bass line of an E minor or E major or
Yeah.
something. And he would sort of just have this really unique melody over it that he repeated.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like that about the arrangements.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. He was such a huge part of that. I learned how to write songs with him, and he's a jazz guy, so he's, sometimes would improvise and find a line, and sometimes he would obsess over one melody and keep trying to tweak it and play it till he got it just right. But
Out of school, when maybe it wasn't right out of school, you were singing with like a big band kind of thing.
yeah, that was after I moved to Boston a few years after.
And you did that for, how long did you do that for?
I think I was with them for like almost 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big band?
Mm-hmm. Like a
Like-
20-piece
Oh.
big band,
Wow.
swing band.
Nate.
Yeah.
And so
We got to
when
get
did,
recordings of that.
when did you, do you have any recordings of that?
There is
There's
a
gotta be something
recording.
out there.
Yeah, it's the Compact with a Q, like the old computer company.
Yeah, I saw
big
that.
band.
I was wondering if it was like sponsored by.
No, so they were originally like the whatever preceded Compact. Was it like the digital or deck or something? I don't
I
know.
had a compact when
It's
it came
terrible.
out. I remember.
Okay.
They had
was like
Dell
19
around the same time.
1947,
47?
95 or something like that. 47. So when did you start? When did you start going solo?
I guess, going solo, I don't know. I was always just trying to write songs and learn how to play guitar and play out. I think probably a couple years after I moved to Boston, maybe it was like 2003 or 4 or something like that. 2004, I started trying to do some open mics and playing covers and sometimes playing with Matthew.
And then your first album, which was The Bad Side of Good,
Yeah.
was 2010.
Yeah.
And that's your first album.
Yeah, I think I started writing in like 2007 or 8 maybe.
So it's like 3 years of written songs that you finally put together onto a CD.
Yeah.
Because the first album is I don't want to say it's very different, but it's certainly a different sound, especially with the band that you have now, which is just a killer band.
Yeah.
You get some killer musicians.
Yep.
I remember when I came out with my first album, it was like 2 years of us just writing and writing and writing, and then we went to the studio. We just kind of picked the best of.
Yep.
For the second album, for when you got to Warmer Season, was that the same kind of thing where you were writing over years, or did you write with the band first of all? Did you write, or was it all about you were writing?
No, I wrote with the band in mind. I think that was the difference. Like the first CD, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just writing my first songs and learning how to write songs. And not that I know now. I don't know if anybody really knows how, but it was just experimenting with writing. And I didn't have a band, so we did a lot of overdubbing. And there's one guy who plays on one or two of the tunes on The Bad Side of Good who I never met.
That's great.
He was out in West Springfield where we recorded it, and I never even met him. And he played these killer little hooks on guitar, and I paid him and thanked him and never met him. So I mean, that's how that album went. So I was determined if I was going to do the next one. Mike was on the first one too. That's how I met Mike, and then we started dating right at the release of that first CD. And so he introduced me to all these people who are in Bourbon Renewal and this whole community of musicians that I've gotten to know and play with. I can't believe, my luck with that. So the second record was totally different. I was writing for like a band sound in mind with these awesome guys, and that then we could kind of go in and things were fully formed. It wasn't, we were just experimenting and overdubbing all sorts of things, which, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I really wanted to have it sort of fully functioning before we recorded it. Mm-hmm. So that was fun.
Did you play them live a lot first before you went into the studio?
We did, yeah. We played a lot of them live before recording them, but not a ton.
Yeah.
And how do you like to write? Do you it's an interesting sort of thing you said with the band in mind. So do you sort of think of melodies first, or do you sort of think, well, that's kind of like a cool beat, or I could picture Mike playing or a bass line, or does this just sort of come iteratively as you start? Yeah,
that's the age-old question. Like I don't know what, every song's a little different, like what comes first, and sometimes it'll be just like a groove and having like a beat in mind that Mike will play, and sometimes it's just a guitar part, and then sometimes there's a strong melody. But sometimes I'll write and I'll know that I want to have a section where there's going to be a ripping guitar solo, and leave that space for Andrew or whomever to just rip it. And so I guess sometimes like the writing for the band doesn't come until the song's a little bit more formed, and then I can tweak the arrangement. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I could be lying that sometimes that doesn't happen. I don't know.
Are you a lyrical person where you think lyrics first, or do you usually, because sometimes people have like they'll just sort of like do gibberish or scatting basically, and then they'll add lyrics. Actually, that's kind of how I do it a lot. But I mean, not that I'm like Mr. Songwriter either, but everyone does it differently.
Yeah.
But and sometimes I won't even know what to say, and I'll just be like we did on many of the Frog songs. I just make up words.
Yeah, we kept some of them too.
Yeah,
but I think that's awesome, and I know people who write that way too. And sometimes the words like come out from whatever you've jibber jabbered, and you're like, oh my god, that sounds like this, and I think that's actually the lyric that I want.
Right. So should we tell her about Vader Spain?
Yeah, go ahead.
What?
I thought you would talk about it.
Oh well, so he was.
I can't remember where it came from. Oh yeah.
We're doing one of the songs in the studio, and the line is, I'm not even sure I remember what the line was, but
I think it's off into space or something.
I looked outer space. That's one of the lines.
Oh, I look to outer space.
I look to outer space, and so
it's brilliant. It's like Bob Dylan.
He was just doing it, and he's kind of like figuring out where he wants to go vocally, because we actually just rewrote these songs for the studio. We wrote them, and we didn't play them out very often at all, if ever. I'm not sure we ever did. We kind of wrote while we were in the studio.
Oh my god!
And in his manic brain, while he was trying to figure out where he was going to go, instead of saying looked out of space, he said Vader Spain.
I look to Vader Spain. I think
And I'm like,
that's
did
what
you
it
just
was.
say Vader Spain?
You didn't even mean to? It just
No.
kind of came out?
Vader Spain came through me, man.
Wow.
I'm not even sure he realized he did it.
No.
And
then, of course,
And then we kept it.
we kept it in there.
We kept it in there. So
Yeah.
you'll hear that.
Yeah.
That's
there.
awesome.
Yeah, we'll let
That's like
people-
a
we'll
little
people now
secret.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, when there's like 114 people that have liked it or like have seen it, and like you could be one of those people.
Okay.
I still think
Cover of
Vader
the new
Spain should
album.
be the name of the band.
Vader Spain.
It's a little too weird.
I like it.
I don't know.
It's kind of catchy, though.
Mm.
I mean, then you always have people asking you, and you want people asking you.
Right,
you
like
know?
what's Bourbon Renewal?
Right.
I love that song. Can't Leave Well Enough Alone.
Oh, thanks.
And you got horns on there.
Yeah, we've horns on 2 tunes on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got and a couple of tunes there.
Yeah.
Did was that something that you said, this would be great? Were you in the studio when you decided to put horns on there, or was it something that you kind of just knew you wanted to do when you were at the song?
No, I've always wanted to, and having sung with the big band for so many years too, and having so many friends who are incredible horn players too. It's like, oh my God, we could make an album that has a horn section. How awesome would that be? So we kind of picked and chose which tunes it would be best for, and it added so much, and it was a ton of fun. And
Yeah, it's great.
yeah, our friend Jerry Sabatini on trumpet did all the horn arrangements, and
Yeah, sweet.
yeah.
Have you played live with the horn?
We have not all of the horns, but we've had a few gigs up in Maine at Blue, and we'll have at least 2 horns. And I think we're going to try this summer to do a couple shows with a couple horns.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
It adds so much. That's great. If
Yeah.
you have like that live presence.
Oh, it's awesome.
And they do a solo. It's like, oh, it's great. So jealous.
Angels.
I want to do that.
We don't get that very often.
We should have a horn come up.
You should.
You know, and where's the Turtle song? What album again? Is it
On
the new
Warmer
one?
Season, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Because I remember we were at Main Streets and you did, the open mic thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you came up, and I think Mike came up with like a glockenspiel.
Yep.
Was that the right? Yeah. And
It's an awesome word, by the way, glockenspiel.
There really is.
yeah, Spiel means performance or play in German,
You don't have to make things up.
but I don't know what Glocken means. So, but anyway, the Turtle.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember hearing that song and thinking, I think this was like 4 years ago or something. And my kids were, my daughter was like 4, I think. But it like crossed generations, because it was like, this is a song
Okay.
that could be cool for kids and that is cool for adults. I'm sitting in a bar and I'm like, I'm just a little turtle, and I'm like, moving my
glockenspiel.
glass. And that's, I think, a rare thing. And I just want to point that out, that I thought of that night. I was just like, this is like kind of like a cool, like little hit song.
Thank you.
I think that's one of your best songs.
Thank you.
It's a different thing, It's not like everything else that you do, but I think
Yeah.
it's really unique.
When you go out and play now, do you always, I can't imagine it's possible. Do you always have the band with you when you go out and play these songs?
Often, I kind of made a commitment to really, as much as I can, try to play with my bandmates. And also, like, I had a solo gig recently, and that's great, because a lot of places, if you're going to be an opener, they only want solo, and
Right.
you're not going to be able to invite people. But I really try to make a point now to bring Bourbon Renewal, because I feel like that's my voice now, and that's where I really live musically and where I want to be. And it's so much more fun to play with people. I like playing solo. It's great, and to have an opportunity to play for people I've never turned that down. But it's just so much more fun to hear what other people do, and I'm just obsessed with harmony. And if there's singing and playing, it's just, there's nothing better than that to me.
Has
So,
the band changed your guitar playing?
Definitely, yeah.
In what way?
I feel like I'm more confident in a way, because I want to go more towards like just rhythm guitar and not, doing super fancy things. That sounds like a cop out, because I don't really know how to do super fancy things. But
Well, you're a
at
picker.
the same time,
you're a finger picker.
I've been practicing, doing some, writing some songs with that. But I think it has changed just the idea of my guitar playing function in the band, because really I don't imagine myself as a guitar player, and I want to be the singer and band leader and let those guys just do what they do best.
Yeah,
So,
that's the best part of a leader, is just to make them, it's each person needs to shine in their own way.
Yeah.
My favorite song is Pants.
Oh, sorry.
It's the last song on the album.
Yeah.
Who is that speaking?
That's Greg.
It's Greg.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. What do you say? I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
Let everyone buy the album,
Yeah.
and they can figure out what is spoken there. But true words have never been spoken, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't listened to that one in a while. I have that in my car.
It's kind of a hidden track, yeah.
Oh, I miss Pants. I miss the pants.
You're not really
if you
missing.
follow the rules, then you will miss the pants, and that's all I'm saying.
Oh.
So, as valedictorian of your high school and college,
Oh, no. Where did you find that?
I told you we do our research.
Where did you find that?
You called your mom.
Yeah.
We have
okay.
pictures too that we'll show you later.
No,
I'm kidding. We don't have any pictures. So yeah, you were valedictorian. How about that? I think you're our first valedictorian we've had on our podcast.
Anyone who's willing to admit it, maybe.
You never asked me.
Were you valedictorian?
No.
Oh.
I just said you never asked me.
Consider yourself asked.
Consider it till that. I won't ask it again.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Because she's probably our last valedictorian.
Yeah. It's an honor.
Our last,
not.
definitely our last double valedictorian.
So did you speak at either one of the graduations?
I spoke
Or
at my
both?
high school graduation. Yeah, but keep in mind, I went to a high school where my class, I think, might have been the smallest class ever to graduate from West Boylston High School. And I think we graduated with, my friends can correct me, but it was like, might have been under 50 people. So, I mean, really, it's not a big deal.
Valedictorian, it still is. I'm not the sharpest person, but that means the top, right? That's like the first one, right?
Yeah, I'm not even
So
the top.
so 1 out of 50.
I'm usually not even
Yeah.
the top in the room if there's like 5 people. Never
Right.
mind if there's 50. So that's pretty good.
Right. Britt's still the
Those are-
valedictorian in this room.
Those are good odds. I know.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what did you do for the speech?
I think, it's such a weird thing to try to remember that. I think we had a theme where like one person was past, one was present, and one was future. And I think I got present. So I had to speak about the present. And
Being in the moment,
Oh,
enjoying what you have,
like a Christmas
and
story.
not what you don't have. I could have been a valedictorian.
See,
with
you
my-
totally could have.
Man, I'm
You
pretty
probably
good
would
at
have
this.
written a better speech
I
than
could have
did.
been a
I
valedictorian.
could have. See, now I'm living in the past. See?
Chuck
It's never
Clow.
too late to be a valedictorian. You just got to enroll somewhere.
Yeah.
You could totally still do it. That's the amazing thing.
I'd be a 47-year-old valedictorian. Is that
Yeah.
possible?
Of course.
It's like the 41-year-old virgin.
Yeah.
The 47-year-old valedictorian.
All right, we're getting off topic. So what's next for a bourbon renewal? So you got a lot of gigs this coming. You're playing at what's the place that you mentioned? The Stone
Stone Church.
Stone Church,
Stone
yeah.
Love the
Church.
Stone Church.
That's
New
great.
Market, right?
Mhm.
I've never been there, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, we've played there a couple times now.
It's a cool place.
It is. It's a funky little place.
And you've been going down to Rockwood Music Hall.
Yeah,
You're
we're
going
going
on-
there
actually,
in a couple weeks, or
in a
a
couple
week
weeks?
from this. The 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one are you playing? Which stage?
We're on stage 1, which there's no cover, so it's just kind of
It's on
people.
the left.
It's a smaller one.
Yeah,
on
the
left.
little tiny one.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, that's a great
And,
stage.
yeah.
I was just there last week, a couple weeks ago.
I have to say
Stage
that
one.
their sound people are awesome. We've played there twice now. This will be our 3rd time, and it's always they have it down because it's like festival setting where we're going playing a 45-minute set, and you break down and get off the stage, so the
Yep.
next people can get on within 15 minutes. I mean, you
Yeah.
got to be on it, and
It's
they
impressive.
are on it.
Yeah,
And
and the
Yeah.
band always sounds good.
yeah, they're great.
Yeah, they're
Tell
always-
me about Bull Run.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. We're playing in November at the Bull Run in Shirley, and I've never played there. And that'll be we're sort of sharing the night a little bit with Bruce Marshall, who's a friend of ours. And,
Yeah, we know Bruce. Not.
Yeah.
he'll be on the
Okay.
podcast as well.
Awesome.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Bull Run. I live in Acton, and it's isn't it Groton
Yeah,
or
Shirley. Yeah.
20 minutes from me. I gotta go.
You've
I
never
gotta go in
been?
November. I've never been. I've
Oh.
always see the website. Have you ever been?
No,
It's a really
funny-
they got great acts,
They get
national
national,
acts from
yeah.
around the country.
It's
we
really
should go.
old
We'll
school.
go. We'll go to the Bruce and Britt show.
Yeah, cool.
that'd be great.
November what?
I think it's the 12th. I'll have to look it up. I'm pretty sure it's November 12th.
Well, you brought your guitar.
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna play us a song?
Sure.
We'd love for you to play us a song.
Okay.
Are you gonna? I assume you're gonna play off something off of Bourbons.
I could.
Or but it's up to you. It's your call.
You can play the pants song if you want.
I'll
It'll be
play
a quick
the
one.
pants song. It'll be super quick, and I'd have to change my voice to Greg Loafman's voice.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And you have a beautiful voice, and we
Thank
love
you.
your stuff. So you do have a website. Now, it's BrittConnors.com.
It is.
Does Bourbon Renewal have a website for Bourbon Renewal, or is
No.
it's just off of your website?
It's just
there?
off of mine,
Okay.
yeah.
So people can go to BrittConnors.com.
Yep.
And you have both albums available
I
to get. You can.
They're on
download-
iTunes
they're on
too, but
iTunes,
yep.
But you can get them are they on CD Baby. Is that where they are? Okay, so on CD Baby.
Yep.
And as usual, we always recommend people buy
Yes.
the artifact,
Yeah.
not download. If you can download, that's great, but also buy
Yeah.
the CD from Britt, and also you will have all your upcoming gigs
Yes.
on your site as well.
Yep.
So we want to point people towards that, and we'll put that on our website too, so people can.
Thank you.
can see.
All
Come
the
to
info.
Passim. Come to the Stone Church in July, if
Yeah.
this is out by then. And then, of course, November 12th is a Saturday night
Oh, cool.
in Shirley, Mass. at Bull Run.
Awesome.
I think I have that date right. Did you check that?
Well,
We'll
the
double
12th
check.
is a Saturday, but
Okay.
it may
got
not be the
pushed
date.
around, I think. Right.
It'll be on the website.
It'll be on the website, good.
So.
But for all the listeners, I will be there on November 12th on a Saturday, with or not Britt.
I may be doing my valedictorian speech at the time, so I'm
Yeah.
Hey, you got to enroll somewhere and become
I'm
valedictorian.
gonna have to. You've inspired me.
Life goals.
The 47-year-old valedictorian live at Main Streets.
Yeah, no one cares.
Nobody cares. I know it's sad.
All right, let's hear some music.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Cool.
We'll point the mic towards you.
All right. This is a brand new one that just only played out a couple times and still kind of figuring out what it is. But yeah. Walking on eggshells, I might have known that this was bound to crack. You came with your warnings, but this time it was the straw that broke my back. I let you off easy for toying with my all too eager heart. You thought you could keep me from stopping what I never meant to start. I thought that you were the kind to look me straight in the eye, but now I see it's with a lie. I trusted you with my dreams, never thinking they would fall on careless ears. So don't tell me you'll miss me when you never cared to say it all these years. I thought that you were the kind to look me straight in the eye, but now I see it's with a lie. Pour me some whiskey, I just wanna drink. I'll toast to lessons learned, but I don't wanna think. Don't wanna think and run.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That was excellent. Good job.
Note to self: file your nails so your nails don't get caught.
I bite mine. So, all right, well, that's it. Thanks very
Cool.
much.
Thank you. Thanks
All
for
right,
having
awesome.
me.
Thanks for being
Great
here.
song.
Above the basement.
You got it. All right, I'll turn this off now.
So that is our show for today. Thanks to Britt for her awesome performance and conversation. You can purchase her music on her website at brittconnors.com, on iTunes, and also CD Baby. Please do so. And as always, we are grateful for the hospitality of Woods Hill Table for letting us record there. Check out our own website at abovethebasement.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter, listen and subscribe to our podcasts, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and look at all the nice pictures we post on Instagram. We are everywhere. On behalf of Ron and myself, thanks for listening. Tell your friends, and remember, Boston music, like its history, is unique.